Hey guys, Dan here, aka Wolf, and today we're going to discuss what Ellie's journey must be in The Last of Us Part 3 to bring her path full circle to how it began. Of course, this is a continuation of our conversation from last week's video, which you are free to visit in the link above. But before we dive right in, let's take a moment to celebrate the spooky season.
Yeah! Vampires are like my thing.
And if vampires are your thing, you can snag a copy of my gothic horror novel, A Wicked Thing in the Red Wagon Lurks, which is a vampire origin story with elements of cosmic horror and body horror, set in 1821 Texas, where a mysterious Spanish count is seeking to flee the New World before the Mexican Revolution can break out in full.
I am Count Dracula. I'm actually Countess.
You can find links to purchase your ebook or paperback in the description of this video. Your support is greatly appreciated, and don't forget to leave a review wherever you purchase your copy. After all, what you have to say means more to me than you could possibly know. One of the major themes in The Last of Us Part 1 was Innocence Lost, both Joel's innocence and Ellie's. With the collapse of society, the harsh and brutal world of The Last of Us has a tendency of making survivors grow up fast. The events of Part 1 and its DLC Left Behind forged the 14-year-old Ellie into an adult through a trial by fire, where she emerged through a heroic threshold by facing her fears and letting the darkness pass through her. But the unforgiving world of The Last of Us can often turn heroes into villains, feeding the inner monster lurking within all of us until the point of no return is crossed. If Part 1 reflected Ellie's innocence being traded for strength, then Part 2 was about her inner monster being tamed and restrained at the final moment. Fortunately for us and for Ellie, she did finally, in the end, manage to do this, but at great cost. Part 1's turning point for Ellie is when Joel falls from his horse and Ellie rises, but also at great cost, as symbolized by her iconic palm tree shirt being sacrificed to bandage Joel. This moment is the true beginning of a path that threatens to steal all of Ellie's precious inner gold. Through the Left Behind DLC, we know that Ellie has been wrestling with darkness long before she met and lost Joel. And yet, we observe her resilience and pluck throughout her earlier adventures, as her inner gold still manifests through reading from her joke book or marveling at the beauty surrounding her in the natural world. It is these earlier moments that reflect the light she must reclaim in Part 3.
Now roar. Roar. Ellie. Really? Fucking roar. Roar! There she is!
While her magical night with Riley in the mall was a wonderful revelation, as we all know, it ended with perhaps Ellie's darkest moment for that era. The horror of realizing that she was surviving her bite while her beloved girlfriend was turning. It should be no surprise to us the remarks of an older Ellie revisiting a place that reminded her of that night.
Anything in here? Just Halloween stuff. Some of this stuff is funny looking. I'm not a fan.
At the conclusion of Part 2, Ellie is broken. She is maimed and disfigured, both emotionally and physically. Her Ahabic quest for revenge has cost her her new family, as shown by the abandoned farm that Ellie briefly passes through like a ghost. I would like to take a brief aside here to reiterate that this does not mean that Dina has stopped loving Ellie, or vice versa. But the storytellers are sending us a clear message by choosing to not have Dina and JJ waiting for Ellie back at the farm. And, more importantly, if this family was to be immediately reunited, the final shot of the game would not be Ellie walking alone into the wilderness, which is a very clear and unmistakable narrative statement. While I suspect that a part of Ellie and Dina will always love each other, Dina needs stability for JJ's future, and Ellie needs to be in a wondering and self-searching state as a jumping-off point for Part 3, where she may be able to reclaim some of the gold she has so long ago lost. As a mirror to Part 1, in Part 3, will Ellie be the Joel-like grizzled and hardened character that wears a bracelet in remembrance of what she's lost? Will Ellie be the one taking a young kid under her charge, perhaps on a journey across the country with parallels to her and Joel's own great trek? Will this young ward make Ellie laugh again, which may begin to resurrect the pluck and high spirits of Ellie's younger self? And furthermore, will this young ward perhaps be immune, just like Ellie? While the kid's immunity angle is not a necessary component for this path, one thing is for certain. Ellie's journey in Part 3 must explore how she finally finds the light after being lost in so much self-searching darkness. The darkness that she headed into the wilderness to perhaps find her way through. If we put ourselves in Ellie's shoes, she was supposed to die that night in the mall alongside Riley. Then, as she told Joel on the porch, she was supposed to die on that table in the operating room. Regardless of what Ellie's ultimate fate is at the conclusion of Part 3, the only thing that matters is that she finds the light, and that, no matter what else happens, she be the one to choose her own fate. If Ellie wants to sacrifice herself, the greatest thing we can do as fans of her arc is the same thing we should do if Ellie was a real person. And it boils down to one thing: respect her choice. And for once in her life, it needs to be her choice, not something decided by a father who can't let go, and not something decided by a well-meaning faction trying to save the world. This story and all of its immersive journeys needs to finally end with Ellie making a decision that everyone else must accept and respect. After all, that is what love and acceptance truly means: to embrace someone's choice about their own life and their own well-being by respecting their self-sovereignty. If we can't do that for a character in fiction, then how can we expect ourselves to find the light in real life? If this video meant something to you, please leave your love or your arguments in the comments, and I will respond to every one in the time that I can. After all, what you have to say means more to me than you could possibly know.